following review was made in protest. What you are about to see is the unhinged meshing of 2025's worst movie by a fed-up person. No guts, no script, no visuals, only audio. Enjoy if you want to.
What's that thing that Chris Chan says? Like, this does not require a captain's log introduction. This is dead serious. So, I have been pestered for the past month to talk about this shit. And I didn't even want to because what haven't I said about this that hasn't already been spoken by every single other person who has seen this garbage, right? So, okay. So for the past month, my friend Cassie, I'm calling you out by name. My friend Cassie has so I make reviews for things that I've seen in theaters. If you want objectively terrible opinions, then I have an Instagram where you can see all of my reviews for everything new that I see in theaters. I get around to a lot of it, as you can see. Um and I usually post little teasers for what I'm reviewing, even though if you know what's coming out, then you already know exactly what it is. And if there's anything that remotely looks like the logo to Hurry Up Tomorrow, I will get a message from her saying, "Is it finally time? Is it finally time for Hurry Up Tomorrow?" No! Because I don't want to talk about Hurry Up Tomorrow. But she's still under the impression that it's Hurry Up Tomorrow. Now, we've tried doing a recording where we debate on each other about why I think Hurry Up Tomorrow is terrible and she thinks Hurry Up Tomorrow is good. We tried making a recording like that. It did not go well. It got cut off like way too short. She left, never came back. So, you know what? I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting antsy. I don't want to talk about this, but now I feel like I'm being forced to. So, you know what? We're just going to get it out of the way right now so that I never, ever have to talk about this movie again. So, let's just get this out of the way, right? Hurry Up Tomorrow was the worst movie of 2025. I thought that, I thought at first that if War of the Worlds didn't come out this year, that I objectively hate Hurry Up Tomorrow more. I think Hurry Up Tomorrow is just the worst movie of the year. I, War of the Worlds is just a step right above that. It is a much worse made movie, but at least I remember it. I don't want to think about Hurry Up Tomorrow anymore. So, The Weekend, right? High selling artist, one of the most popular in the modern times. Um, so back in January, he released the last album of his trilogy, possibly the last that is under the Weekend name, Hurry Up Tomorrow. Now, this trilogy of albums, I love them. After Hours is my favorite album of all time. It saved me through the pandemic. I really like Dawn FM, but Hurry Up Tomorrow is so damn good. It is the perfect end to that trilogy. I have both versions on CD. I am that dedicated to this album. I love it so damn much. So you can imagine the absolute surprise that I felt when it was announced, like not that long after it came out, that there was going to be a movie that was based on it. That felt really cool. That was really cool. Um, and it was going to be done by Trey Edward Schultz. Oh my god, it was so cool. Now, me being an absolute nerd about movies per usual, I knew they were doing this movie for a while. Um, it was back when it was just known as the Weekend Trey Edward Schultz movie, Untitled. We didn't know what this was going to be about. We only got a little. I don't even know if it was real or like if it had anything to do with the movie, but there was like an image of a house, like an abandoned looking house, and he might have been saying something about like, oh, this house will be important later. Um, that might have been the first teaser for it. I really could not remember for the life of me. But I knew they were doing this for a while, and the absolute joy that I felt when it was finally revealed that it was going to be based on Hurry Up Tomorrow, that was awesome. Now, I love Trey Edward Schultz. I haven't gotten around to Waves yet, but I have seen It Comes at Night, and that movie is so devastating. I love it. So, combining this visionary director with this absolute visionary of an artist, it was like a match made in heaven. It was like yin and yang. This could have been really good. So when that first trailer came out, we didn't know what it was about, but it looked cool. It had the obviously we got our first little taste of what the weekend's acting was going to be like. How fucking obnoxious we that's not even the right word, what the fuck. How oblivious to obnoxious. How oblivious we were to it at first. And we got Jenna Ortega and Barry Keoghan. I don't know how they ended up here, but you know what? They're here. That's cool. So that first trailer did sell me, and naturally, me being an absolute weekend dick rider, I was looking forward to this thing. I was on cloud nine with this shit. I was out looking for a blue moon. The blue moon was out every night for me. It felt so good. And then the movie came out. Now, initially, I was gonna see this in theaters. I was gonna do a solo run of it, but we ended up seeing Final Destination Bloodlines instead, which was the much better choice to go with. So what before the movie came out, the first reviews had came in overwhelmingly negative. I think it debuted with a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. The fact that that's achievable off rip is insane. And for this, it was just look. I'm gonna go as deep as I can about this without talking about The Idol, but I have to bring up The Idol again. People were saying that this may be worse than The Idol. Don't know where they got that impression from. Nothing could be worse than The Idol. But yeah, the reactions were overwhelmingly negative. And so I was a little scared. So I decided that maybe it probably wasn't worth seeing, but also I did want to see it, but also I never got the chance to see it because I just never found the time to. I was probably getting the better end of the stick because it got pulled from my theater after like a week. It got pulled from my theater after a week because nobody was going to see it. So if that doesn't indicate a fall off, then I don't know what does. So I eventually waited until it came out on digital, and I finally got to watch Hurry Up Tomorrow for the first time. And when I tell you that this is the biggest pile of dog ass I have seen this year, I'm not even exaggerating. This movie is so incompetent at being a movie that it made me realize, even though I knew it right from the start, the album of Hurry Up Tomorrow, it's already nearly an hour and a half. It tells a much better story and feels like a more competent movie than the movie that the album is supposedly based on. Is it based on it though? I don't see any reason to believe how the album was influenced from the movie. There is nothing in the movie that could possibly indicate anything from the album. So I don't even know what to say about this that has not already been said by so many people already. Hurry Up Tomorrow is the worst movie of the year. War of the Worlds is just a slight step above that, and Hurry Up Tomorrow is bad. It took me way too long to realize it. It is awful. So the movie in question, it stars The Weeknd as himself. Stick with me now, right? It stars The Weeknd as himself. And it is based on the event that happened to him back in 2022, I believe, where he lost his voice during a concert. And it was already like really devastating when this happened because that had not happened to him before. And he said after the matter that that was the point where he realized that he said all he needed to say as The Weeknd. And so he rewrote a lot of the Hurry Up Tomorrow album to not only be based around that and his feelings and just generally like having a more devastating theme to the album, but it's oh my god, it was horrible to hear that happen. So if there's anything that I can commend about the movie, it's that I'm at least glad that he went this way for the movie because recreating that night again, going through that traumatic event, that's dedication. That is sheer power. And I love that. Bit unfortunate though about the rest of the movie. So after he loses his voice at this concert, he ends up meeting Jenna Ortega's character, who they never say her name during the movie. I know what it is, but do you really want to know? Um, it's evident that her character is a troubled. She's troubled. She's not like the other girls. She burns down house, and that's it. She's a fan of The Weeknd too. So once she sees him losing his voice at his concert, the two start to sense a connection with each other because they're both troubled. They're not perfect people. And so they end up meeting. They go to Pacific Park, yada yada, the usual. It doesn't count as a date. Who's really to say? It doesn't fucking matter. Barry Keoghan's there. He's The Weeknd's manager. He's got that funny little accent, but I don't know why he's here. It's cool that Barry Keoghan is in another movie this year, but been unfortunate that it has to be this one. But oh well, I guess better than Saltburn. Um, so this movie is all over the place. Who the fuck is texting me now? Now is not the damn time. Um, so oh my fucking god. Um, the movie is all over the place with literally everything. I would say there's about maybe 30 minutes of a plot stretched out to 100 minutes. Most of it is just dedicated to like being a music video, being like a pseudo short film, having a bunch of visuals, maybe some dialogue thrown in there if you're feeling frisky. But that's literally it. That it is so empty. There's nothing to this. I don't want to go through the plot because there's not really much of a plot, but to basically summarize how the plot goes, um Jenna Ortega burns down house, Weekend gets prepared for a concert happens, he loses his voice, he meets Jenna Ortega's character, they meet up, possibly pseudo date, she's with him for a little bit, um she listens to the song Hurry Up Tomorrow, very good song by the way, used not very good in this movie, but we'll get to that. She relates to the song because it's like it's got all the themes about it and shit that relate to her. Um God, it's so fucking stupid. Possibly sex. I really couldn't tell. There was too much like swirling colors that kind of looked like people, but also didn't. So then next morning, she thinks that The Weeknd is avoiding her because she's destructive and she's troubled and shit. Jenna Ortega's character's mother finds out about the burned down house. The very famous scene that you've seen everywhere where The Weeknd just goes, "Shut the fuck up." Shut the fuck up. Shut up. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? I have to go right now. I'm getting calls. I have to catch a flight. I'm on a tour. I'm trying to be fucking nice. You see, I'm trying to be fucking nice right now, but you're forcing me to be bad. So just chill the fuck out, and I gotta go. Yeah, that very famous scene. She knocks him out with the fucking bottle, and he falls in slow motion. It is the funniest shit I've ever seen. And then the last like 40 minutes is dedicated to the weekend tied to a bed while Jenna Ortega dances to Blinding Lights and Gasoline while doing an Anthony Fantano review on every single one of them. She's hitting a fucking boogie and she's like, yeah, I think the song has very destructive themes about like toxic relationships, and it's about this girl who she like she's damaged and shit. She's damaged, but he's also damaged, but they're both being destructive, but he's more destructive than her, while she's like hitting the fucking, oh my god. That she puts on gasoline, she hits the mouse skidoo, and she's like, yeah, I think the song is also about toxic relationships. Who was the girl in question who damaged you? Who was the one who left you damaged, right? It is so relentlessly stupid that was the point where I realized that maybe I held out too much hope. Maybe after the Idol, I'm talking about it again. Maybe after the Idol, I don't think a movie and the weekend should be two things that go together. It's honestly a bit unfortunate because the weekend is a visionary artist. He tells great stories through his albums. Each song is more better than the last. Each one goes more deep than the last. And especially with the album Hurry Up Tomorrow, it starts out explosive, it goes slow, and then it gets really devastating towards the end. And that's what makes it so good. So the fact that a movie couldn't translate off of that very well is just really unfortunate, because I would have loved to see basically like a visual of like visuals of the album, but that's not what we got. Instead, we got this pseudo misery, constantly spinning the camera around a car shots that would have been cool if they only did it one time like they did at the end of the trailer. um it's so awful. It is legitimately disgraceful. um so I guess now we have to get into the actual meat of the movie, right? All the elements that infuse into it. Trey Edward Schultz, he's a great director. This is his worst movie by a long shot. Nothing on him, because I'd like to think that this more has to do with the screenplay and, the weekend doing acting and shit. Yeah, screenplay's awful, obviously. The length, it just goes, it drones on and on and on for absolutely no reason. Like I said, it's 30 minutes of somewhat of a plot stretched out to 100, which, looking at that, taking that in perspective, that is an extra hour and 10 minutes of random visuals, pseudo music videos, all stretched out for way longer than it needs to be. This is a movie that 100% overstays its welcome. The acting, two-thirds good. Barry Keoghan, don't know why he's there. He's not really in the movie much. I don't see what he adds to it. The Weeknd, terrible actor. I think that honestly goes without saying. Anybody who has seen the famous clip should know that already, or anybody who has unfortunately had to watch The Idol, I'm so sorry. I'm there for you. I saw, I watched that shit right when it came out. Oh god. Oh no. Jenna Ortega is the only one that gets away with this because she's a legitimately good actress. She is. I feel like she was the only one who could have made her role work. She made it work. She did so well. I love her. Um, the music, I love the score. Wish they would release it on digital. Um, the songs are obviously good because this is based on the album. That goes without saying. Um, that's it. Yeah, yeah, that's it. I don't know what Cassie wants from me by making a review on this. There's nothing to say about it. There is nothing to say on this movie. It is nothing. There's nothing to say. Everybody has already spoken their truth on this movie. I don't know what I have to add to this. I just feel like I'm being forced to do a review on something that is probably unreviewable, besides a few small elements about it that sort of work. That it doesn't even matter at this point. Now, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. That award still goes to a tie between Halloween Ends and Amelia Perez. Um, yeah, nothing could be worse than it. The only redeeming factors are like Jenna Ortega, the music, some of the visuals. Oh yeah, the visuals. It's just style over substance, which I hate when that happens because I do love when stuff looks good, but I also like it when it, you know, it feels worth it to watch. Like, you can have a good style, but put some meat on those damn bones. Like, holy shit. Don't just have an extra hour and 10 minutes of visuals onto 30 minutes of what feels like a plot. That's not how you make a movie. That's not how you're supposed to make a movie. Um, I'm honestly really glad that I didn't see this in a theater because they do that spinning around the car with the camera shot like 5 times in the movie, and it only looks good one time. And by like the fourth time, it just becomes unrelenting. It probably would have killed me if I saw it in theaters. It is a objectively, well, actually no, it doesn't look worse than him. um, I really don't know what else more I have to say about this. It is such an empty, vapid nothing of a movie. It doesn't feel worth it to watch if you're a Weekend fan, unless you're a Glazer. It doesn't feel worth it to watch if you're like a casual. If you don't know who The Weeknd is, this movie is not made for you. It is a weird ass example, and I hate to compare it to this because it makes me sound absolutely delusional. Compare this shit to the Mario movie. Now, hear me out, right? The Mario movie was only designed for fans of Mario. The problem with adapting video games is that you have to do shit to basically introduce newcomers who don't know anything about Mario. And the movie doesn't really do too good at that because it's mostly just references and nothing more. If you don't know who The Weeknd is, you might, if you're delusional, you might find something to like, but it is absolutely not worth it to go for this if you don't know who he is, because this movie is entirely designed for fans of The Weeknd and not really anyone else. So that's another reason why it's probably not worth it to watch. Um yeah, I don't know what else I have to say. So we're already 23 minutes into this recording. I'm just gonna cut it off here. I really don't want to talk about this anymore. This might be the worst video I've ever made, but you know what? I'm getting this chip off my shoulder. I'm getting the monkey off my back. I'm cleaning up the shit off the fucking toilet seat, right? Cassie, I know you're watching this right now because you've been expecting this review for a month. I am so sorry that it had to be like this. I'm sorry we couldn't make that debate work, but you know what? Let's put this behind us, right? This movie came out back in May. Everybody has already forgotten about it. Let's just put it behind us, right? Let's put this all behind us. We can make it like The Idol to where we never have to talk about it again. It came out, it did its run for a week, and it immediately faded from the public eye. We never have to bring this up again. So, in conclusion, album is good. Go listen to the album. Movie is bad. Do not watch the movie. Yamma damma ding dong. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. I'm sorry that there was no visuals to accompany this, but I wanted to get this shit done fast. And I know I just said that I'm done making YouTube videos for a while. That's still that's yeah, I'm just still taking a break. I don't want to prioritize YouTube. Um so just call this like a little treat that you're getting. A little treat. Um yeah, that's it. I'm going back into hiding now. Do not watch Hurry Up Tomorrow. Listen to the album instead. Jenna Ortega gets away safe. Album good, movie bad. It's over. I hope you're fucking happy, Cassie.